Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of God Concept Podcast. How the fuck are y'all doing? Golly, it's a beautiful fucking day. Tuesday, April 22nd. You know what I mean? 2 days after a beautiful, Easter Sunday. You know what I mean? It is what it is. My name's Mr. Pagan. I'm your host of this great, fine, established show that I have created and came up with called God Concept Podcast. God Concept Podcast, man. I just like to think, you know what I mean? See, this is why we need people, right? Because when you're around people, you get to have conversations and get to come up with different concepts, different theories on life and how things work and everything like that. And I was having a good conversation, and that's why I came up with today's episode's, title. The concept of today's episode is called Praying in the Water. Pray in the water. God damn it. God damn it. Gotta pull out my handy dandy notepad. I had it written down. You know I be jotting shit. My notepad getting beat the fuck up. This notepad is all fucked. Let me see something right here. See something right here. Yeah, pray in the water. Pray in the water is the title to this episode, man. Cause a lot of us don't realize that water's water's tied to astrology, right? I realize that water's tied to astrology. Depending on how close the moon is and whatever lunar cycle the moon is going through, right? It has effect on the tides, the waves, you know what I mean, and how, things move, the wind blow, everything, a lot of things, everything that happens in the stars and the heavens above, you know what I mean? It affects the things that happens here on Earth. You know what I mean? And just understanding that, it puts me in a perspective that when you pray in the water, around water, you know what I mean, your prayers are heard more or connected more to the creator when you actually use the water to pray. You know what I mean? Standing in the shower praying. When you know what I mean? Shit. And don't mind the atmosphere. It's noisy as fuck on this block. It's a whole bunch of construction shit going on. But yeah, praying in the water, you know what I mean? When you get baptized, should they baptize you in water? In Islam, when you make wudu before you pray, and you pray while you washing yourself, while you cleansing yourself to prepare for prayer with water. You know what I mean? Everything you do, even when they want to cast out evil spirits, what they use? Holy water, right? Oh, and another thing, before I get so deep into this episode and forget and just keep on going on about praying in the water and everything, and I know how important that is, you know what I mean, to get this message across or whatever. But I also want to say, send my respects out and, want to say, rest in peace to Pope Francis, you know what I mean, who just passed away at the age of 88. You know, want to give a brief moment of silence for him and remembrance of his life and everything that he, you know what I mean, he's done and, the figure that he, represented, the figure that he become, you know what I mean, being Pope. There's a lot of work going on in this block. But yeah, man, Pope Francis touched a lot of people. You know what I mean? And not no funny way. I ain't being funny. But Pope Francis touched a lot of people. You know what I mean? He was a good guy. You know what I mean? I know. You hear me up here saying my thing about my religious beliefs and my spiritual beliefs and this and that. Well, I do believe that, you have good and bad in every faith, in all walks of life. You have good and bad, you know. So, but he was one of the good ones. I don't know him personally. I never met the man, but I like to, my feeling, it's like when I think about the man, it's not like an ill feeling. I don't have an ill thought. It's not like I have a thought of him ever doing some, dangerous stuff, something, crazy to anybody or. So yeah, he was a good man, in my opinion. So yeah, I want to wish him his family condolences and say rest in peace, you know, to Pope Francis, you know. Shit, I wish I could be the next fucking Pope. You know what I mean? Choose me. Like I'm a very popish type of dude. Look at all the shit I'm going through. You know what I mean? Shit, I'm very faithful to my faith. You know what I mean? I'm very faithful to God and the Creator, and you know what I mean. My theocracy and how I live my life and everything. Shit, I make a great pope. Y'all need a new pope? Talk to Mr. Pagan. Talk to Mark Pagan. I'll be your pope. You know what I mean? Because I do a lot of pope type things, man. I know this episode is called "Praying in the Water," but yeah, man, I pray in the water a lot, man. A lot of people. I noticed that. A lot of different places you go to, they want to pray for you. They want to pray with you. They want to, you know, but I pray in solitude because I pray in the water. I meditate in the water. I pray in the water. I mean, I don't mind praying outside of the water with a person. You know what I mean? Just out in the street or whatever, if I see you or this or that. You know what I mean? But I do believe that you got to be careful how you pray. You got to be careful who you pray with. And I do believe that if you want those prayers, you know what I mean, answered a lot. If you want your prayers to be heard a lot more, I know all of them are heard. But if you just want a different level of meditation, relaxation, and just connectivity, if you want to reach the Creator on a different frequency, I believe, you know what I mean, through my own experiences, you know what I mean, that you play in the water. And I never even told nobody that until a couple of days ago that I had that belief system. That's why it's good to have conversations to get your thoughts out there to other people. Because I never even thought about making that or saying that on an episode of my podcast or anything. But yeah, praying in the water is definitely where it's at. It gets you more connected to everything. I mean, our body is 70% or more, made up of water. You know what I mean? It's just taking that aspect alone and taking the aspect of how, you know what I mean, the ocean moves with everything and how we use water for everything. I mean, like literally, you can live off of no food and just water alone. You can live off just water. If you really wanted to. Water is the most natural, the most healthiest thing out here for you. You know what I mean? Everything is purified through water. Or the heating up of water and then consuming. You know what I mean? Drinking that water or however you do it, but you got to get water in your body. That's why praying in the water is your best bet. If you wanna, you know what I mean, give praise to your Creator. Your best bet is giving praise in the water. You know what I mean? If you want a better prayer ritual or anything like that, I'm not here to give nobody a prayer ritual or tell you how to pray or when to pray and none of that. But all I know is when you pray in that water, man, it feels different. You know what I mean? Some people complain about water being too hard and this and that, but it don't matter about the type of water. As long as it's not dirty, murky water, you know what I mean? You good. But even I gotta take that back a little bit too. I mean, me personally, I'm not praying no dirty work murky water where somebody don't wash their ass and all that. But yeah, I get in the shower, I pray anywhere. You know what I mean? But murky and dirty water, the Aztecs built their civilizations amongst swamps and things like that. When you look at the monster, the one of the characters they came up with back in the day, one of the little monsters and shit, Swamp Thing. You know what I mean? Swamp Thing was based on, you know what I mean, that. You know what I mean? Somebody living in the swamp for so long and you know what I mean, or a monster living in the swamp and things like that. That was one of the Aztecs things. They prayed in those swamps. They prayed in the water of those swamps. Those swamps protected those people. Those waters protected those people. You know what I mean? Our ancestors are connected to something very, very deep and very spiritual. And I'm gonna tell you, I do believe that praying in certain areas on this earth, in water, like in swampy areas and things like that, actually help your prayers reach the heavens. You know what I mean? Because all the constellations and everything line up here on earth. So it's like you got constellations that's lining up on earth that's not on flat land anymore. You know what I mean? Because the earth revolves, the earth goes around. That's why you got to pray in different areas at different moments, at different times of years. You know what I mean? In different places. You know what I mean? This is why they do that. You know what I mean? People with that type of knowledge or people with that, you know what I mean, type of upbringing, they know to pray in certain areas if they want certain things happen. You know, and if they want good fortune, if they want this, if they want that, they pray in certain areas at certain times so that prayers can reach the highest levels of the heavens. You know what I mean? And it's a lot to go on, man. You know, I've been challenged and faced with a lot of information, and it's like some of the information that I'm challenged and faced with is conflicting to the information that I have myself, right? But my information always consists. My information, right? My Akashic records information always consists and persists through whatever else I learn from anybody else. You can try to tell me whatever you want. My information still connects. It still connects every time because my information will verify and validate somebody else's information, right? Or their information, no, and vice versa. Their information will verify or validate my information. So it's like, once again, that had me going, baby. You hear that, motherfucker? Yeah. But yeah, once again, we all searching out that same intellectual pool. Once again, we all fishing out that same intellectual pool out of the same, yeah, all we feeding off the same knowledge, off the same wavelength. It's just everybody's saying it differently. You know, if you stop and really think and stop trying to be right about everything, you know what I mean? Because some people got so much knowledge about us in a certain area, it becomes they allow it to make them snobbish. Like you can't be snobbish with the knowledge that you gained in a certain area because you know more about it, or you may be able to say it more eloquently. You know, a person that says something sloppily can teach you something as well. Just because it's not said with the sharpness of tongue, you know what I mean? It might be said with a little, slur and all that. Because look what we're around. Our speech is different. Our speech patterns are different because we picking up different things from different people and talking to different people and trying to either bring ourselves up to their level or bring ourselves down to their level. But still, it's the same intelligence. It's just getting down to the communication level. Once you get past that initial communication barrier of me not being able to understand you or you being able to understand me, the information could be highly intelligent, even on a lower speech pattern level. You know what I mean? Everything don't gotta be spoken about so eloquently for you to really understand or grasp some knowledge that's really, groundbreaking or or revolutionary. You know what I mean? And for something to be groundbreaking or revolution or you know what I mean? Or what is it? Insightful. Some information that's very insightful to you. All you gotta do is come down to that communication level. Ground yourself and root yourself in communication with a person, man. It's deep, man. Other day we seen a double rainbow. Joan looked like a fucking portal somewhere. And I'm only talking about that because my train of thought went away. I was somewhere else in my mind because I was going to take the conversation somewhere else. But man, I just been learning a lot, man. Staying involved, just learning a lot, learning more and more, learning more about myself, my situation, you know, and just letting that, yeah, yeah. Oh man. I'm just hoping, not what the fuck am I talking about? Everything is gonna go well. You know, I just put pity on um I'm gonna go ahead and say this and get this out the way in the middle of this episode, right? I put pity on Philadelphia. I put pity on the Commonwealth of Philadelphia and the operation and the people who was involved in the operations who allowed a lot of the things to happen in my life, in my father's life, in my children's life, um, for whatever reason or whatever cover up or this or that. And I just like to thank the creator that I was able to figure all this shit out and really um, put my thumb on put my foot on the neck of an organization that been fucking my people for a long time. I don't know about your people. I'm speaking about my people, right? My direct people that I'm connected to, right? I'm not no big bad tough guy, but yeah, I put my foot on their neck. You know what I mean? I put the paperwork in, I did what I had to do, and I did my due diligence, and I did the best that I could do. And I'm satisfied with that. You know what I mean? I'm satisfied knowing that I didn't let anybody get away with fucking us over for so long. You know what I mean? But trust and believe, I know with Philadelphia, the Commonwealth of Philadelphia, people in the community leaders, like actual people, like people that I knew and they knew me, people that I worked with and worked for and shit like that, people that I didn't even know, people that y'all know, people that y'all would know because they out here on TVs and music videos and doing interviews and shit like that. And I'm talking about the Lil Uzi Verts, the Meek Mills, the Gillies, the Wallows, the Will Smiths, the all the motherfuckers in Philadelphia, because they all know about that shit. They all connected to that shit. And they all know it. And they try to suppress, repress, and also do a lot of devilish, sinister shit to normal civilians and people living their life and doing their motherfucking thing. And they destroy your life to make it look one way because it fits their agenda for the order you know, that they uphold or whatever. I'm squashing that. They align themselves with with figures in the city and things like that, and just they think they're untouchable because they align themselves with organizations and shit like that. The stars and the people from your communities who put out the drugs and who put out the albums and who's making all the money moves and shit like that, and they seem like they big fucking Willie, but you really not. The cops that they appoint to work in places, all these motherfuckers is connected. The drug dealers, the cops, the peoples in the office, the entertainers, everything. Fuck your whole system. I'd never fuck with nobody in Philadelphia. I promise you. I'd never fuck with nobody in Philadelphia. Because for a long time, I've been going through a lot of shit and known a lot of people who could have connected me and really got a lot of things resolved in my life, right? But instead of helping people and they know what people are going through, right? Instead of helping me and knowing what the family was putting me through and all that shit, right? And y'all motherfuckers been stealing a lot of style, stealing a lot of swag, stealing a lot of sayings and all that shit. Cause you motherfuckers is actors, right? Think y'all with the mafia and shit like that. The mafia in Philly is really, you know, local government. Fuck them niggas. Fuck all y'all people. Seriously. Y'all are rotten people. And I hope you know that. Your family, your lineages, and all of that is going to hell. You know, I'm not saying that. I'm getting that. I got that. Your family, your lineages, all that is going to be doomed to the fucking hellfire. You can do all the interviews in the world. You can make all the music in the world. You can make all the movies in the world. You can write all the books and all that shit. But because y'all knew what the fuck was going on for a long time and y'all participated in a lot of different ways, on a lot of different levels, y'all time is coming. Time is almost up for y'all, right? Time is almost up. I'm doing something, sweetie. I apologize. I'll be with you in a moment. I'm almost done. Yeah. Yeah. And I just take that stance because I got my legacy to worry about. I got my legacy to worry about, and I got my children I'm trying to live. And none of you motherfuckers out there I just mentioned give a fuck about my legacy, about my children, or anything. Because I'm in the position I am in, and they're in the position they in. And y'all, city, whomever, however it look, can make it look like I put myself in this bad situation, but I'm making the best out of a bad situation, just like I always done, just like I'm going to continue to do and strive to do better, you know? And I just like to thank the creator for that, man. You know, I pray in that fucking water, man. I pray in that fucking water. That's how I'm able, I'm still me through all the bullshit I go through, even over here, even where I'm at currently. Still going through nut shit, still going through battles, spiritual battles, manifesting physical on a lot of different levels, on a lot of different planes. But I'm still battling, still doing what the fuck I gotta do. But yeah, man, just getting right, man. We gonna get right. It gotta get right. But Philadelphia is a fucked up place. You know what I mean? Now, I love you, but I don't. I love you and hate you. I'm gonna come in y'all city. I'm gonna talk shit. I'm not even gonna talk shit. I'm gonna just come to y'all city and I'm gonna keep it cordial because I got family, I got children and everything, right? But it is what it is. Fuck your city. Fuck what you about, man. I'll handle business that I gotta handle there, but I'm not interested in any personal relationships with any of you backslide motherfuckers in Philadelphia. Because you motherfuckers follow people, cross bridges and all that shit. And y'all keep the same system going. Y'all shit don't stop. Y'all shit don't stop. You gotta get away from the cabal of whatever organization. I'm telling you, man, this shit hard to do. Once they got the motherfucking them octopi fucking antennas on your family or whatever, they do not want to let your family go. They'll try to hold you in Philadelphia. They'll try to suppress what you're going through. They'll try to suppress all of that shit. They'll try to act like you, make it seem like you're crazy, try to throw situations at you, get locked up, get killed, get hooked on drugs, get this, get that done, blackball you from not finding work, steal your motherfucking information. So this way they could steal whatever money you got coming to you in any type of way, try to get you tied up in all types of shit so you'll never get out of the fucking city that you're from. So that you never get from under that fucking gun that Uncle Sam is holding over your ass. Your own people holding over your ass. Very ones that can lift you up out that shit. The very ones pushing your ass down in that shit. Why? So they family fuck ups don't come out. So they family don't go down in history as being monsters and bad people because they protect their own. You understand? And that's what I'm doing with mine. So there's no love lost, but at the same time, fuck all y'all, especially the personal ones. Not all the other people, like the ones that I don't know. Hey, I don't know you motherfuckers, right? I don't know Meek. I don't know Lil Uzi Vert. I know people that know them. I don't know Gilly. I don't know Wallow. I don't know them personally, but I know people that know them, you know? Philly's not that big. I know people that know them. So I'm not saying fuck them and making it personal between me and them. No, not at all. But the people that I do know, family, friends, relatives, people that I worked with, worked for, and helped out in my life, and you knew all of this shit was a plot by these mafia motherfuckers. Fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. I hope your deaths be horrible and long. You know what I mean? I hope your family, your legacy go through some crazy shit. I hope whatever country you motherfuckers is from, they cutting off your fucking family tongues, man. Because you motherfuckers is horrible. You spread rhetoric and you come here and you carry out operations and lies and people lives. It's a lot of people in America that's not even America. They just learn how to be American. And then they come over here and spy on us for their other countries and they're allowed to do this for whatever, what purpose? Why do they get to come over here and do this? Fuck you. Seriously. Fuck all you niggas. Say whatever you want. You line yourself up with like, come on, man. We all out the slums. Like, seriously. Anybody out here in these streets lining up with mafia motherfuckers, anybody lining up with government figure like that whole Black Panther Party shit. I'm looking at that now different. Them niggas was co-opted too. And that was right around the neighborhood where I grew. All of this shit is nutty. Seriously, this shit is nutty and ass backwards, man. You gotta learn who you are and be truthful to that. And no matter who the enemy is, stand up to them. They could be FBI, NSA, CIA, motherfucking DEA, mafia. They could be the motherfucking boogeyman himself. I'll put a foot in your ass over my kids. You fuck my life up, I'm gonna fuck yours up too. Bottom line. And if I don't get no resolution, then you're gonna see something manifest physical. Because I already did all the legal paperwork I could do. I already did all the investigations I could do. I did everything I could do to prove true for justice, for rights, for justice, for my civil rights and my justice, and for truth. I don't know what's coming next. Either I'm gonna get resolution, either the people who did me and my family wrong is gonna be brought to justice. I'm gonna make sure they get justice myself. Bottom line, you know. Bottom line, if I gotta kill myself to hurt somebody else who hurt my family, who took my grandmother from me and did all that type of stuff, then that's what it'll be. I'm not that type of person. Well, yeah, you will, you will pay for what you did. Bottom line, you will pay for what you did because that hurt don't go away. That hurt don't go away. It doesn't. I'm gonna stay strong for my children. I'm gonna stay strong for me. And I'm gonna continue doing what I'm doing. So yeah, scratch what I just said. 'Cause I ain't going nowhere. I'm not gonna throw my life away to what? To hurt people that hurt me? Because I'm not a hurt person. Hurt people hurt people. I'm not a hurt person, but I'm hurt. You hurt a lot of shit. You got a lot of shit to pay for. Scanning Picos, Pennsylvania, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. You got a lot of shit to pay for. FBI, CIA, whoever the fuck you are. You got a lot of shit to pay for. You know, you got a lot of shit to pay for. So there you go. And I'd rather put the paperwork in and kill you that way than risk my life and kill you with a bullet, a gun, or a bomb, or this or that, or plotting on shit, because I already know you see everything. You know everything. Before this podcast out, you already got a fucking rap on it. So, you know what I mean? It is what it is. Pay me. Pay me for sending them bitches in my life and destroying a lot of shit. Pay me for having me grow up with motherfuckers who never even really gave a fuck nor loved me. Pay me for going through all that trauma, for all this bullshit that I found out. Pay me. Pay me. That's all I gotta say. Pay me. And pray in the fucking water. Pray in the fucking water. Pray that the creator help your mothers, fathers, and daughters. Pray in the fucking water that your sons won't have to go through what my father's sons had to go through. Pray in the fucking water. It's a beautiful day. And yeah, man. Man, I don't understand the level of disconnect, you know? But it is what it is. Well, this has been an episode of God Concept Podcast. Please um, like, share, subscribe, support the content. I got music, books, everything out there. I done told y'all before. Support the concept. Click the like, share, and subscribe button. And stay up with me because I'm gonna stay up with y'all and let y'all know how I'm doing, what I'm going through, and how it's moving. I got to get more content out here more frequently and everything like that. But life is going on, and I'm being distracted and shit like that. I'm not gonna bullshit you. I get distracted at times, and I get bullshitted at times. So it's like, it is what it is. I'm just taking small incremental steps to build my foundation back the way that I want it. You know, want to cut my own slice of America off now. It's my turn to have a slice of this fucking American pie, not just for me, but for my children, man. I'm tired of being controlled. I'm tired. And you know it, and it's still happening. So yeah, I'm just tired of that. Being controlled, puppets, and all that shit, and you still being controlled. So please stop, man. Please stop. This shit gotta stop. Because if I don't get resolution, it's gonna be a lot of dark days for a lot of motherfuckers. If I don't get no resolution justice for the shit that I've been through, it's gonna be a lot of dark days for a lot of motherfuckers. But I love y'all. Peace. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of God Concept Podcast.